It happens. Everybody good? Okay. Just making sure we're all good to go. Again, cool. There's people joining us from all over the place. Fantastic. All right. Um, excellent. Just making sure we're good. Cool. Well, a few informalities right up front. Throughout the course of this presentation, of course, you can ask questions. I'm actually reading chat in real time. That's the first thing. So we can go back and forth a little bit. Myself and a number of individuals are actually inside of the chat room here. We have a lot of support staff on today to help answer some of your questions throughout the course of this. And if we don't get to your question during the bulk of the presentation, we will absolutely answer it towards the end of the presentation. Number two question that everybody always asks me, is this live? Yes, it's live. It is absolutely live. You're like, how do I know? I don't know, because the marketplace is open and I'm watching it. The S&Ps are basically at highs of the day. Can you believe this? Up some 45 handles again. There's just like this sense of like impatience almost to the marketplace, like a little bit of like fever pitch, if you will, to the market in the last couple of trading sessions. With that, I want to get started. I want to make sure that, again, just those informalities out of the way. Again, my name is Don Kaufman. I'll give you guys a formal introduction of myself here momentarily. But what we're going to talk about today is new, and it's a real-time pressure detection console. And again, this is going to be, I think you guys are actually going to be shocked at some of what we're going to show you here, literally lighting up early trade signals and letting us target 50% plus in accounts and surges in less than 90 days. You're going to see some very cool trades and where the origin of those trades happen to come from. All right, let's get into it. This is the silent surge. All right, risk disclosure. We are not advisors nor a broker dealer. I think a lot of people know the background that myself and Brandon Chapman, who I'll introduce here momentarily, actually come from, which happens to be extensively in the brokerage background, which again, I'll describe here if you're not familiar. If you ever need to get a hold of me specifically after today, just come right here. Okay, support at theotrade.com. I always make that very clear. Email us. Okay, I answer emails and pretty rapid succession. I get back to you within about 24 hours. So just put Don in the subject line, comes right to me. We use a common inbox. A few housekeeping items. Housekeeping. Look, Brandon and myself are going to go through quite a bit in today's session. I would say kind of cut some of the distractions down. Let's make sure all of our phones are on silent mode. Okay, I'm doing it right now. Phone is on silent mode. Kick out the kids. The dog can stay. You took the time to be here. And again, we're going to go through quite a bit in today's session. As I was saying moments ago regarding markets, pressure is everywhere. It's in markets, it's in headlines, it's in your account. You're going to understand a lot more depth about what that pressure happens to be here in just a few moments. The surge is already underway and silently. Breakouts that fake out, collapses without warning, moves with no catalyst. Look, this is a little bit about me. Again, my name is Don Kaufman. I'm going to give you like the nickel tour of how I got involved in this business. So for those of you that have never been to a TheoTrade presentation before, welcome. We launched TheoTrade in 2016, and I say we, many of us here at TheoTrade come from a background of both Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. You guys, as I said, I'll kind of give you the nickel tour. I started trading, literally 3 weeks out of college. Like everybody has a story of how they got involved, in the trading world. I grew up in it. I literally grew up in and around traders. I went to Chicago, in the late 90s. I was there during the internet boom, trading in a number of different pits of the SIBO. Shortly after I was actually in Chicago, I was invited to a startup brokerage firm. Turns out that brokerage firm, which was a nothing, was really a something. I joined Thinkorswim in 2001. I was on the executive team when we took the company public in 2007. I was there when we were acquired by TD Ameritrade in 2009. I signed a 5-year lockup clause with TD Ameritrade, and I actually went on to run education, okay, for both Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade. And TD Ameritrade, we had over 7 million clients at that point, literally 7 million clients. Ran education for that for the better part of 5 years. At the end of my 5 years, I exited TD Ameritrade in 2015. There was a period of time where I wasn't able to do anything, but in 2016, of course, we turned around and we launched TheoTrade. And much of the crew that worked in our group at Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade followed us over here to TheoTrade. So, of course, in a moment, I'm going to be introducing Brandon Chapman. His background is also not dissimilar to mine, but we also brought over, Jeff Bierman and Blake Young, and the list goes on and on and on of individuals that we knew from our past life. Look, what you're going to learn extensively today, okay, deals with order flow. And Brandon and I, this is effectively what we specialize in. What order flow is we had access to everything that you did, all of your trades. We had access to your trades for the better part of 15 years. And a lot of today's presentation deals, okay, specifically in order flow. I think you guys will find this really interesting. So give an example here, 5 moves that retail, your retail, okay? I'm retail now. 5 moves that retail never saw coming, but someone did. Each move was flagged, okay, before it hit the tape. We're going to explain what this means. Plug, 222%. SILJ, 392%. GDX made a 72.5% move. Coin dropped by 33.8%. Siri dropped, okay, by almost 38%. Every one of these moves, and I'm just elaborating on a few of them, every one of these moves left a footprint. Order flow left a footprint, okay? A lot of people always feel like, you're always late, okay? Predominantly, you're not seeing, okay, the truth in the market. We talk about like smart money kind of leaves a trail, but here's the real truth. Big money leaves trails. They always do, okay? But most traders, they do not know where to look. Like if somebody said to you like, oh, smart money's like leaving a trail over there, where do you even start looking for it? We're going to cover that extensively today. And then I'm going to poke a little fun on this because for those of you that know this, I'm not big into technical analysis. I'm not. And a lot of the people that I work with, including like Jeff Bierman and so forth, they're huge into charts. But what we're going to explain today ain't no MACD, no Fibonacci, no Bollinger Band. Where's your 618 now, big guy? It's not there. Okay. MACDs can't see this. RSIs can't see this. And news is instantaneously disseminated and priced in. Okay. Retail tools follow price. But the price, by the time, like when I say retail tools follow price, by the time you actually see price on the screen, it's already made the print. Price reacts too late. We're going to go ahead of that and we're going to actually decode, okay, the surge. We need a specialist. You're about to meet the trader who made the silent surge visible, okay? The market, it leaves clues. And I think a lot of people recognize this. You ever watched a stock set up perfectly? Okay. I mean, literally set up perfectly. The MACD and the Fibonacci and the Bollinger Band align. The stars are out. Literally, you get in and the thing collapses like momentarily after, of course, you get in. So why does the market sometimes look weak only to then rip higher? Okay. Leading traders scrambling. By the way, I threw that little phrase in here. Why does the market sometimes look weak? Did anybody not see what just happened on Thursday or Friday of last week? You come in on Monday, you're like, it was just a momentary lapse of reason. Okay, there's some wild moves going on right now, and that's it. It literally is leaving people scrambling over here. Let's cut through some of the chaos and spot signals that drive some of the big moves. Okay, how would your trading change if you could see footprints, okay, of institutional traders before the market reacts, before price kind of reacts? What you're about to actually witness here is Brandon Chapman is about to unveil a proprietary detection system. Now, some people, okay, may or may not be familiar with Brandon Chapman. Again, I'm going to introduce him. Okay, no one here, though, is familiar with what we're about to show you. No one. Why? Because we're about to show you something here that's a proprietary piece of technology. The detection system, giving him institutional level visibility into the marketplace. Helped him, okay, win 78% of his trades by detecting explosive setups. Most traders, they don't even know exist. Okay, each time you're going to see what the market is kind of hiding, okay, and how Brandon revealed it and saw it. Also going to show you two silent surges in progress. So we're actually going to go live into the marketplace and see what's happening effectively right now. Brandon's actually going to show you what actually happened. And Brandon, okay, is actually going to dictate to you how he foresaw the real move. Simply put, you're not going to look at price action quite the same ever again. So with that, okay, Brandon Chapman, the pioneer, okay, and founder of Ghost Prints. So some of you may be familiar with that, okay. Brandon, I'm going to bring you into the conversation. For I could read through your entire bio, but I'm just going to tell a little background. Brandon and I actually go back. It's about 20 years now. Okay, most of us that were like early Thinkorswim, like days, we go
Yeah.
back, like literally 15, 20 years. So I'll give you the nickel Torin Brandon. He does have a chartered market technician, CMT designation. For those of you that do not know, a CMT designation is extraordinarily difficult to get. Brandon actually went on after receiving his CMT designation to actually write questions for the tests, which is if you ever take a CMT test, for those of you that know what it is, Brandon Chapman is directly responsible for writing many of the questions on that test. Brandon also, of course, was TD Ameritrade educator and contributor. Brandon actually built a lot, okay, of the course structures from TD Ameritrade. In fact, most of the options, content that came out of TD Ameritrade literally was written by Brandon. And again, over 20 years in trading and market strategy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to introduce him right now. Let's get down to it because let's trade a little bit here, Brandon. Let's talk a little bit about some of the silent surge.
Yeah.
What do you got for us today, sir?
I mean, since we're talking tools, I thought, hey, the first time I met Don, I'd spent a week at Thinkorswim headquarters in Chicago. Don was out of town. I just was learning the Thinkorswim platform. And I get home and I have to drive for Don. Don comes and visits us in Salt Lake. I got to drive. And I've barely used the platform for like a week. Don got a little frustrated. But anyway, that was then. This is now. And so I'm really excited to bring to you today what I'm about to bring to you. I've worked with thousands of traders one-on-one over the many years I've been in this business, and I've watched a lot of traders blow up. Their setups are clean, looking like everything was good until it wasn't. It wasn't always their fault, though. Frequently, it was the tools that they were using. And so as we kind of progress through this, I've used so many different tools that are out there. Scanners, etc. You name it, I've probably seen it and used it. And the hard thing is that how do you detect this pressure in the market before it releases? Over the years of working with people always notice something after it happens. That's when they want to take action, is after the price has moved, because that's when their systems, that's when their scanners, etc., finally turn their attention to it. And now you're wondering, okay, should I or shouldn't I? Everyone followed price. They've never really led it. That's what we're attempting to do. Retail tools, they're built exclusively for reaction, not for detection. Okay. And so I tried APIs, I built my own filters. Nothing worked. You get the lag, the latency, gaps in data. Oh my goodness. Lately, Thinkorswim, you go there and the data's missing. Everything fails frequently or failed when you needed it most. It was like building a submarine with duct tape, right? You're taking on water. Nothing was clean. So I bit the bullet, okay, and built it myself. I didn't want another scanner that just kind of got you through the door, and then you got it through all these steps to try to verify and identify and go through all the rigmarole of finding real actionable data. What I wanted was a forensic grade detection console. And so if the market had a secret language, I wanted a tool that would make it clear and actionable. If I could describe tools out there, especially in the area we're going to talk about today, they're so noisy. I just wanted to cut through the noise. And so I'm going to introduce this to you today. It's the Ghost Prints Surveillance Console. This is it's a real-time system that intercepts hidden institutional pressure. I'm going to say that again. Hidden institutional pressure. Institutions try to hide in the options market, but we're going to find it when it hits the tape. We'll find it before it hits the tape as it's occurring real time in the options market. We're trying to see the unseen and, of course, strike with precision. And if you hang with me to the end, I'm going to show you some real-time prints that are happening right now. I looked at them before I got on. There's a couple I think you're going to be really excited about. So if you hang with me to the end, I'm going to show you what's going on right now. We're talking thousands of contracts traded in one trade. That ain't you and I. That's something big. All right. So let me show you what it can do. First thing is, it's going to save you a tremendous amount of time. There's a reason why I've stuck with this. I started working with retail traders 17 years ago, trying to find these kinds of the stuff I'm going to show you today, these big prints. And it's been worth it, right? It's been worth it to spend the time every day to find these opportunities in the market that I'm going to show you right now. But the problem is, look, it takes time. This is about to save you 20 plus hours a week if you really want to dedicate yourself to finding the moves before they happen. No more chart scanning overload, right? We're talking about a 50% account surge. That's what we're targeting every 90 days in Ghost Prints. And I'm talking for real. We're trying to simplify your life. We're trying to cut through the noise and find the signals. All signal, no noise. We're a couple clicks away from being able to do that. Now I'm going to kick things off with an exciting print that we saw here. This is Kohl's. Now, looking at Kohl's here, looking at the chart, what are you thinking? The price did nothing for months. Nothing. It's flat. We're trading between what, $6.50 to about $9. Nothing's going on. And then what are you thinking right now? If we pulled 1,000 traders and said, okay, we've just gone sideways for 2 months, what's the next move? There's no
Sideways.
trend. What's your MACD going to tell you, Don?
Absolutely nothing. We're
Right?
flat. Yeah, we're totally flat in here. You know what? I looked at this one like time and again, and I'm like, this is crazy. This thing didn't move at all. It's just channeling back and forth.
I bet if we pull people, it's a 50-50, right? But we don't want 50-50s, right? We want to have some indication of the move before it happens. This is the blue bar, folks. On July 8th, 2025, 4,700 contracts were bought. We're talking, again, that's a surge on the 18th July 25, the 950 calls. So here they are. They're stepping in with size. I'm not buying 4,700 contracts. You're not buying 4,700 contracts. They stepped in about 47. This is institutional level trades. This is what we're tracking. This is also the old way of doing it. I'll tell you, folks, I spent a lot of time every day finding something on Toss and a scan, going to a chart to look at the option, how it affect the price, looked at the time and sales, did it fill the bid, and answer all of these questions through click after click after click.
So that's
I'm
actually
excited to tell you right now. What? Go ahead.
It's just a great point that you're making right now. So what he's showing you in this blue bar, and I hope everybody recognizes this. This is massive amounts, okay, of options volume, which is actually got dictated on the chart. Kohl's 4,700 contracts are actually bought on here. Probably the most critical thing though is, Brandon, like, how do you know? Like, how do you know they're not buying calls because of a dividend? They're not buying calls for this, that, and the other thing. And that is one of the key components of what we're actually showing you right now.
Yeah. And there's a way to do it. The problem is, hey, Don, I know you love scouring time and sales, right?
Sadly, I've done it for so many years. Like, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, like, I will literally get onto the Thinkorswim platform and scroll and scroll and scroll through time and sales.
Yeah.
And in an underlying to figure out why 4,700 contracts. The cool thing is, like, you guys have to understand, 4,700 contracts doesn't have to trade at once. 4,700 contracts, the smart ones break it up into like little one lots and so forth. They're like spraying everywhere. You have any idea how hard it is to fish that out? Like, they don't have like, I could spend half a day looking through time and sales in one underlying.
Yeah. And the thing is, most people aren't going to do it. I would do it because I wanted to know, right? I wanted to find the answers. And the problem is, it takes time. And that's one option contract, one trade. How do I get through everything I need to? I want to find at least 10 good prints every day. I want to try to find 2 to 3 setups and take 2 to 3 trades a week. This took time. This was the old way of doing things. But what I'm excited to show you today is the breakthrough that we've made at TheoTrade to cut the time way down and we're going to be able to find institutional flows with just a couple clicks of the mouse. Okay. So there's two ways of doing it. You can spend hours finding blue bars, which is hugely valuable, right? This is what I've been doing for 17 years. But now all of a sudden we can take what took many, many clicks in different pages. We're now doing it in a couple clicks. So let me show you. This is the Ghost Prints surveillance console. Okay. A couple of clicks. You're going to see this kind of activity, those 4,700 contracts. You're going to see the location. Hey, they were bought near the ask price. No more going click after click, page after page, scrolling through time and sales. You're going to know right up front with a couple of clicks exactly what's happening. And this was one that was on Kohl's. So we're going to be able to see the unseen.
For the first time, I mean, back up for just 1 second on that one. For the first time, for those of you that are not aware, this is the first piece of technology that we've actually constructed here at TheoTrade. You know, in the past, built a scanner here, and there, put together a little bit of technology, but we've always wrapped stuff around like, the Thinkorswim platform and so forth. Well, we got to the limitations of technology that's already out there. We've got to the limitations of what Thinkorswim can actually do. So it got to the point where between Brandon, myself, and a few others, I mean, the amount of time that we spend on a day-to-day basis scouring through option chains is absolutely ridiculous. So this is completely new level, literally top of book kind of technology that we're actually displaying for the first time here.
And here's the thing. I've used a lot of different platforms. In fact, we were trying to find something like this a few years ago. We had a meeting with Futu Holdings, their publicly traded company, FUTU, Moo platform, looking at all their bells and whistles. And guess what? They missed the one criteria that mattered the most. And I talked to them about what they could do to fix it. And guess what? It takes time. It ain't going to happen, right? So the point is, I wanted to cut to the chase. I wanted to value the things that mattered most with this type of analysis. And we finally have it. And it's going to make it hugely impactful for those that want to incorporate this type of trades in their everyday trading. Here's Kohl's Corporation. So we saw the print, we saw the blue bar. We saw the very simple post in the Ghost Prints console, and this led to a 135% increase in 10 days. That's not in the option. That's in the stock price. Okay. Faded off the high there. But again, we captured a 375% gain in Kohl's trading those options. If you didn't see this signal, you're trading blind. And this gain's only possible because I saw what few others did. We looked through the noise and we found the prints that matter, right? We saw the unseen. And well, this is only our first example today we're going to cover. Let's talk about another one here today. Okay. This is Rocket Companies. Now, I know these probably hit home for a lot of you right now because you've been watching the market. You've seen these big moves. How do you see them before they happen? Well, here's Rocket going into earnings. If I pulled 1,000 traders right here, stock pops, drops, we're going flat for 5 days. We have earnings tomorrow. What do you think those 1,000 traders are going to say? Up, down, sideways. What's the bet? Maybe it's 50-50. The problem is, how do you know, right? How do you make the decision about whether to go long or short, bullish or bearish on Rocket? Now, here's the deal, though. I had a level of optics that traders just don't have at a retail level. It's like night vision. We're stumbling around the dark, but those in light with night vision on, you're finding the path to what? You're finding the path to the blue bars. Here in Rocket in 7/31/25, that's July 31st. Yes, that was last week. They bought 30,000 contracts of the one AUG 15.5 calls. This is the day before earnings. They're going to announce after the close that day. Don, I don't know about you. Would you put 30,000 contracts and butterflies?
So I actually chimed in, and I'm going to chime in on this one. I looked at this one after you showed it to me, and this particular trade was broken up over a considerable period of time and into very, very small chunks. There was no discernible way that you're going to pick up on it, even in time and sales. Like you could have scoured forever. And until you were actually, again, it was almost like somebody had to come out and say like, look, somebody's trading 30,000. They broke it up. This was clean and it was very evenly done, meaning that whoever's trading in here was trying to hide size.
And the reality is that you can hide a little in the market, but no more, right? This is going to uncover a lot of the stuff that's going on that you're probably missing right now. and you're going to see how simple this is. Okay. But what's going on beneath the market? So 30,000 contracts. Look right here, right? We had prints of 30,000. They bought a call spread, buying the 15.5, selling the 17.5. We were looking for 17.5 target after the earnings. Market maker move, we set that aside. We focused on this as the trade. The stock ended up going up 22% in the next 3 days. And overnight, we were able to achieve 150% gain because we bought Rocket calls. Okay. Now, I wouldn't do that on every earnings. But when you get prints, and guess what? We had 2 big prints this week on 2 stocks having earnings later today, Peloton and Coors. Huge volume coming in. That's announcing earnings tonight after the close and before the market opens tomorrow, just like we did last week in Rocket for 150% gain. So again, what does this blue bar keep on leading me to money? Okay. This is a game changer. Because what you're about to learn is going to change how you're going to look at the market forever. You'll never look at price action the same way again. Once you see it, you'll never unsee it. And I call this the squeeze bar. Okay. Again, now before we're looking for blue bars. Now we are uncovering the blue bars in just a couple of clicks. We don't have to go from page to page, from scanner to chart to option chain to time and sales. All of those various steps that I had to do laboriously for many, many, many years. There was nothing better than Thinkorswim. But now I've taken everything I've used for many years in Thinkorswim, and we've now made it what? We've made it a console that you have right at your hands in your browser that's going to bring you this stuff in real time.
So that's exactly what I was just responding to somebody inside of chat over here. They're like, well, so it can do a little bit more than like a Thinkorswim scanner. And like, well, comparatively, Thinkorswim scanner doesn't even come close to this. I would know best. I actually ran that division and literally helped build. I built the wireframes for the Thinkorswim scanner. So you have to imagine, the group that brings you the Thinkorswim scanner, people, that was 15, to 17 years ago. It was actually in 2007 that I wrote down the original request for scanning. The wireframes came out of 2008, 2009 timeframe. This is old technology in the Thinkorswim scanner.
Yeah.
Okay. We're completely next generation. Okay. How you even look at the surface of trades and so forth is vastly different. You can look at bids, you can look at offers. I mean, this is wildly beyond it. Okay. Yeah. It's not even scanning technology. Okay. It's a completely different methodology to look at markets. And you have to have a different approach, with technology today versus, 15, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. And it's a matter of how much time do you have, right? Thinkorswim, I scanned one layer. Okay. I've got 250 different option trades there. Okay. Am I going to get through all of those to uncover the best prints? No, I'm going to find the ones that work, that look good. And then I got to scan another layer. And then I need to scan another layer. And then I need to scan another layer. I don't have to do that anymore. Right. And so, yes, I loved it. It was productive, but at the end of the day, it's extremely time consuming. And we missed some big prints. Why? Because I'm going through layer after layer after layer, rather than allowing the cream to literally rise to the top and just cut through all of the noise. And then you find what looks to be a good print. You go look at the time of sales and it's missing. We've had that happen a lot lately with TOS. It's like, it looks like it's a buy, but I don't have it. We're not worried about that anymore, right? We have a console that's going to lead us through the darkness and straight to the biggest prints that are the most impactful, the most highest value opportunities. Here's another example. This is Jets. Jets fell 11% in 8 days. Okay. Again, if I'm a technical analyst and you ask a bunch of technicians there, we just broke support. We don't have trend, all of this stuff. And look, I appreciate technical analysis. Like Don said, I've written test questions for years, right? For people that are trying to pass the CMT exams to get that professional designation. Graded all that other stuff, developed, whatever. Again, we're falling back here, on the 23rd, right there. What happened? Again, we're talking about the old way right now. The old way is scouring the market for blue bars, right? We're turning over every rock, and we don't necessarily know right away, what's underneath it, right? We got to keep turning over rock after rock after rock. We're stumbling through the dark a little bit to find some areas of light. In this case, Jets, they bought 4,000 contracts, 11 July 25, the 23 calls. You'll see a follow-up trade in here as well. Another blue bar, which happens frequently. But in this case, they bought it. But again, I didn't have to do all those steps. I have the console. A couple of clicks, it allows this type of print. That's 4,000 contracts in one trade. This is not a retail trader. Doesn't matter why they bought them, but they did. They bought the July 11, 23 call, short dated, out of the money. We're looking for a big move in Jets. Now, again, we're talking about unseen forces, okay, that tell me it's time to get in. All right. Big time call buying is a huge indication. Buying out of the money, buying short amounts of time, high short interest stocks. These are some of our highest value opportunities. Kohl's, what led to that big move? People sold the stock and they've got to buy it back to close it. That's what high short interest gives you. This is a TNT factory that's ready to explode. And as the options come in, they're loading more and more TNT into the warehouse. This is what we call a gamma squeeze to a short squeeze. You don't have to know about that right now, but this is the kind of potential movement, especially to the upside, that this can provide. Now, in the case of Jets, what happened? Jets went up 23% in 11 days. This led to a 45% gain in 4 days. And again, we traded a spread. We're shooting for, 60, 70% gains. We shut it down to 45 early. Okay. But the idea is there's not one way to trade these types of prints. It's not. If you have a strategy you like and it works, you can apply that. What this provides you is a target, a direction, and a time frame. If you can find a sizable institutional trade and it gives you those three things, I hope you'll be able to structure something around it. Okay. But this is how this trade that I structured around that particular information. Let's look at GDX. Boring, right? The stock's gone sideways for 2 months. What was it about August 1st that changed everything with regards to GDX? I'm going to show you right here. Again, this is the old way of doing it. Okay. This is what was happening beneath the surface that I had to go layer after layer after layer to uncover previously. They bought 100,000 contracts. That's in one trade, folks. 100,000 contracts. Would you want to know if someone was just bought, some large institution bought 100,000 contracts of the 320 calls? And in fact, that wasn't just a call, it was a call spread. And guess what? The console picked it up. It not only picked up the 100,000 print, it was part of a spread trade. They bought the 320 and sold the 335. That's at the ask. That's at the bid. Buy, sell, spread. Now we have a target, 335 by August 29th. And again, hang with me to the end. I'm going to show you, and there's one big trade today in GLD that I'm going to share at the end that's currently real time on the scanner right now as we speak. But this was GLD. And when was this? Right? I got it's a little bit on August 1st. Again, I don't have to go through layer after layer. I'm not some sort of archaeologist trying to just trying to dust the dirt, trying to cover some bones. We're cutting through it, right? We have an institutional grade a surveillance console that's going to cut right through the noise and find the signal in all of these stocks. Okay. And again, a lot of people probably missed that opportunity. Again, the opportunity was a 9% increase in the last 2 days. Guess what? Gold stocks are up today. There is more activity today in GLD that's happening in real time. How do we do this? We got a 60% gain. Okay.
By the way, for those of you, I don't mind mentioning this. For those of you that are already at Theo Trade, I traded on that. Brandon and I were talking the other day live on Friday morning,
yep.
And we were talking specifically about prints. And people are like, "Oh, where'd that trade come from?" I didn't have a good explanation. And I'm like, "We're using the console." So we're using the console already on the back end. So some of Brandon's trades, obviously Brandon's trades, but I picked up on that one and kind of ran with Paul there.
Yeah, I'm great. I mean, so we're kind of figure out what to discuss. Like, hey, gold, right? I mean, why? The thing about this is that so many people get stuck with the same stocks and they go back and back and back. How do you adjust? This is going to give you an opportunity to adjust and adapt with the market. You're going to see the rotations before they happen. And I'm going to show you one here, one current ghost prints here in a minute on XLU that happened on Monday. But here's another one, IWM. It's up 30% in the last 3 months. Don, I mean, what's been the general sentiment going into early part of July? The market's never going to go down, right?
For the most part, that is the correct answer. Yes.
So the point is this. I mean, we're not just talking individual stocks. You're also seeing what's happening on major ETFs when you see these sizable prints that come through. They're making a calculated bet on what's going to happen to the market, right? We're cutting through all of the noise. And in this case, the bias that the market's going to go up forever and never go down. And we're not out of the volatility woods right now. But let me show you. Again, you pull 1,000 traders. Who's going to say the market's going to drop on IWM with 5%? Probably not very many. But here's the deal. On August 1st, there were this was last Friday, 30,000 contracts bought in IWM. Okay. I mean, just think about it for a moment. In one print, they bought the 217.50 calls. We're looking for sizable downside opportunity in IWM. Now, here's the deal. We took a trade a bit earlier on this 6th. We saw the decline would drop 5% in the next 20 days. Okay. And I actually posted the wrong one there, but anyway, you get the point. 36% gain on that spread. Okay. A 36% gain on that spread. And again, how do we detect this? That would the old way was going through layer after layer after layer. Now we have a console that's uncovering this and bringing the highest value opportunities right to the top of the list instead of bearing the lead every single time. You got to try to dig and dig and dig until you find it. All right, now let's look at opportunities that are happening right now. Now, for those that have been in chat this week, you've probably seen me talk about these. I'm going to show you again here. All right, XLU up 10% in the last 2 months. Okay, I presented this on Monday. Blake got in after me. He's like, "Oh, I'm long." We're he disagreed with me, but it's okay. This is how we make markets. Okay, I'm not waiting for the move to happen. Right? In this case, XLU's up 10% in the last 2 months. You pull 1,000 traders. What are they going to tell you about where this is going? Probably up. Right? That's the trend. XLU's outperforming all the factors that you could come reasons why you could come up here. Again, but I'm cutting through all of that noise. And the old way is we're looking for blue bars. They bought 5,000 contracts of an August 1525 calls, right? 8650 puts. So on Monday, 2 weeks out, we're buying 8650 puts, expecting what? Utilities to correct. But again, that's the old way. Layer after layer until we uncover XLU. Instead, this rose right to the top of the list here. 3,000 contracts bought in one print. We expand over 5,000 contracts by whenever I took the snapshot there by the end of the day. So right there on Monday, and 3,000 contracts in one print on XLU is huge. 30,000 in IWM is huge. 3,000 XLU is huge. And so probably equal in terms of magnitude, but we're looking for big downside movement in XLU. And again, we just cut to the chase. We let the highest value opportunities. We're putting on our night vision goggles. We're seeing the opportunity through the darkness.
By the way, again, I'm going to chime in on that last one on XLU. If you want to back up again for a second, and the reason I want to chime in on that one is I was in the trade, and I actually blasted that out to everybody. We returned 30% in one day on it, so I literally opened the trade and then closed it this morning. We had a nice break to the downside, specifically in XLU, the utilities. Nobody even thought of shorting that crap anytime in the last couple of weeks. That thing's been exploding to the upside. I caught wind and I did actually short into XLU yesterday and closed it today. And again, people are looking at this like, it's ghost prints, but believe me, we're all now like kind of infatuated with this console.
Well, and Don, I mean, I'm gonna throw something back too, because look, I also on Monday, because I put on a trade on XLU there, and now the money spread. We need a little bit more boom. We're halfway home, but here's the thing: I also looked at the expected move. It was touching the upper expected move, and boom, what hit? This hit, right? And so again, you see that again. There's You don't have to give up what you're doing currently. This is just going to enhance it. And all of a sudden, you see it hit the expected move, and you see they bought 3,000 contracts in one print. Again, you got a pretty solid signal to try to base a trade off of. Another one at XLF, right? Here's XLF up 7.5% in 3 weeks. We drifted for a few days. We're sitting right there. Again, what are you going to say? Are you going to go long XLF? Going to go short XLF? Again, the blue bar, the old way hit. We had 15,000 contracts bought in one trade. This is not a retail trader. We're trying to track what institutions are doing every single day. They're trying to hide from us. We're trying to uncover it. And again, in this case, I would have had to have gone layer after layer, maybe even missed it because of all the stuff you have to wade through and the amount of time it took. In this case, what happened? Pulled it up on the console. The console popped up. This is where I found the trade. 15,000 contracts at the ask filled in one print. Again, tells us what after a little bit of a pullback, the expectations the market's going to continue down. Right? We're still in that. We're up 90% on Friday, but again, such a cheap spread. I'm targeting a little bit bigger move out of it. And so I held on through it. We're up about 50% right now, but in that case, we're shooting for over a 250% trade. GDXJ down 9% in a week. I mean, you're looking at this right there and saying, we just broke support, right? All of the traditional technical analysis tools that tell you what happened, not what's about to happen. Down 9% in a week. Well, guess what happened? On Monday, same day as XLU, they're buying puts in XLU, they're buying calls in GDXJ. That's the blue bar, right? That's the old way. I might have missed this because maybe I wouldn't have enough time to go through and wade through all of the steps it takes to find all of those trades. In this case, the console brought it up. 10,000 contracts filled in one trade and filled near the ask. Buying the 75 calls. Again, right now I'm up over 40% in that trade right now, just based on that signal on Monday. And so the idea is we're just trying to cut through all of the noise and try to limit the amount of time and work it's traditionally taken to be able to uncover the highest value opportunities in the least amount of time. And so what you saw, again, it's not magic. Okay.
Yeah, this is not
wasn't
magic.
Luck.
It's pressure. It's pressure, and the pressure is being flagged in real time. People are asking about that with the console. It's not luck. It's again, the console caught every one of these moves. Okay. And it's a lot deeper than just looking at like size. And we'll go into some of the depth of what the console looks at. You can keep scanning manually, or let the edge actually come to you. This is next generation, tech for this. So the window is about to close. So right now, the surveillance console, the console that we're referencing in here, the piece of technology, is bundled with Ghost Prints, but not for long. Okay. Soon the console is actually going to be sold separately. So what we're doing right now, and I could explain it in depth for those of you that are familiar with Ghost Prints. And Ghost Prints is effectively looking right now for this size. It's looking for these trade opportunities. It's looking for these blue bars that we can actually trade off of. Okay. We have completely replaced that with effectively right now, the console, and it will eventually be sold separately. It'll be at a higher price point. It'll be invitation only access. Okay. This is the last time it's going to be included with Ghost Prints. So this is your final window to get in. So you're going to join Ghost Prints today and get full access to the console will be included. So we're actually going to provide the piece of technology with Ghost Prints. So once the offer expires, it's gone. No exceptions, no extensions. We're going to lock in access before the doors close. But the surveillance console, will become its own product, meaning that the piece of technology will be its own product within TheoTrade. Right now, it is packaged specifically into Ghost Prints. We're no longer in a price era of watching price. We're in this pressure area where really price is what you see. Pressure is what actually moves the markets. Okay. You're not losing because you're wrong. You're losing because you're late. You saw the breakout after it ran. You entered the pullback just before it reversed. You followed momentum, right into a trap. By the time price reacts, it's already too late. So what if you can see the pressure build before, the move ever hit the tape? And this is not about price patterns and a Mackie and a Fibonacci and a head and shoulders and a, a wedgie over there. It's not indicators. We're looking at raw institutional footprints as they form. That's been our specialty for years, is like sourcing order flow and looking through data for years. It's raw institutional footprints. Look, sold for over 100% profit. Thanks, Brandon. That comes from Tom. Brandon, I profited over $19,000. It's Troy A. Introducing Ghost Prints, See the Unseen. Okay, built on 25 years of institutional insight, now enhanced with a brand new surveillance console. Included with the membership today. Okay, Brandon's actually going to be providing between 2 and 3 high probability trade alerts per week. So we're still doing trade alerts. Where are the trade alerts coming from? Okay, surveillance console, which we'll get to here in a moment. So we're still doing 2 to 3 high probability trade alerts per week. To be quite frank, the one complaint people have had, there's too many. Like there's a lot more that we're actually doing than 2 to 3. We always say like at minimum, we're going to do 2 to 3 high probability trades a week. Those are alerts, okay, that are going to be texted, push notification, emailed out to you, okay, that are actionable trades. It's not just like somebody traded big. Okay, that's not what we're doing. This is actually somebody traded big and we're behind it constructing a specific trade. It's going to include a 2-hour live masterclass. Stay tuned for a minute. I'm going to give you the exact dates and times of the upcoming masterclass. There's a 12-week mastermind, okay, with Brandon. You're going to learn and trade alongside Brandon for literally, okay, the 2-hour masterclass is explaining not only how to use the console, but it's actually explaining, okay, the logic behind Ghost Prints. Because everybody's asking for like, what's the criteria behind this? Okay, what if we could actually look, okay, into the marketplace? You can see if we're on the bid, if we're on the offer, or if it's open and closing open interest in there. Like, how do you know? Somebody trades 70,000 contracts. How do you know if those contracts are opening in the marketplace or closing in the marketplace? Okay, there's a lot, obviously, underneath, okay, the layer of this surveillance console. All of that's actually going to be uncovered in the masterclass. Then Brandon's actually going to take you through a 12-week mastermind. You're going to learn to trade alongside of him. Okay. You've actually got Ghost Chat. Now, Ghost Chat is an exclusive community. Okay. It's a chat room exactly like each and every one of you are in right now, where you can communicate not only to Brandon, but you're communicating, of course, to our other clientele, okay, obviously, that are in Ghost Prints and using the Ghost Prints surveillance console. Now, here's the real kicker. The Ghost Prints surveillance console, it's included. It's a $5,000 value. And we're doing this because, we launched Ghost Prints a couple of months ago. It has been one of the most successful, okay, really trading alert services that we've ever done here at TheoTrade. And we really felt like, look, for those of you, and I want everybody to listen, for those of you, if you're already in Ghost Prints today, okay, we're going to provide you the console. Everybody that signs up, okay, today for Ghost Prints, we're going to provide you the technology. We're going to provide you the surveillance console. Okay, it's the right thing to do. And then in future iterations, we're going to break it away, and we are going to be selling the console separately from Ghost Prints. The console, the future of this business is technology. Okay, and I've built a lot of technology in the past. It's incredibly expensive to build, okay, technology, and more importantly, to keep it running. The server capacity for it is absolutely outrageous right now. So we will kind of deviate and make obviously Ghost Prints surveillance console a separate and unique product here at TheoTrade. But right now, it's part of it, and it's going to be included in it. Okay, everything you're going to need to see the unseen. And that's really what it's about. It's about cutting through the noise, seeing the unseen. Okay. You're going to get trade alerts, the masterclass, the mastermind, chat access, the surveillance console. The surveillance console alone is $5,000. The total retail value is $10,477. Okay. Today, it's $19.95. It's 12 months of access. Okay. It's 12 months of access. It's theotrade.com/ghost. Now, I always like to pull this up here so everybody actually sees it. We'll post a link in here. Again, it's theotrade.com/ghost. That's G is in ghost, H is in ghost. It's theotrade.com/ghost. But we will link you here momentarily. As you scroll down, okay, to the bottom of this page, all right, please make sure in filling this information out, because there's a lot to do, okay? I want to be clear about this. First name, okay, last name, a valid email address, billing address, and everything. You need to put in the proper information, okay? Well, why? Well, with, okay, the technology and the surveillance console, we are buying data licenses, okay, and we have to actually tell everybody, like, at the exchange level, who is actually on the surveillance console. Does that make sense to everybody? Please fill this out accurately. If you don't, we have to come back around to you and say, are you really, such and such? Put a valid email address in here, because again, what we are effectively doing right now is, again, we're also getting you data that comes with the surveillance console. Okay, there is no extra cost right now. There is no extra cost, okay, in 1995 for the technology. There's no extra additional cost for that. You don't have to pay for data. We got it. Do you understand that that is an incredibly expensive proposition on our side? Okay, but we felt that to launch the Ghost Prince surveillance console, this is going to be the most effective means in doing so. Links are actually out there right now. Again, I just wanted to provide this. It's 1995. Again, it's on right now, and this thing it's going to be great. Like, I'm pretty excited about this. All right, to continue on over here. So 2 to 3 high probability trade alerts a week. I'm going to bring Brandon into this conversation. Brandon, are you doing 2 to 3 a week, or are you doing a lot more? Because one of the complaints I got when we first started doing it is somebody was like, he's doing too much. And I'm like, I don't think I've ever heard that complaint before.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if sometimes you when stuff moves and you get to close in a hurry, and then you do, so yeah, I mean, you're gonna get 2 to 3 a week. Those are really focused on trying to, those are opening trades, and might have some closing trades on top of that. And so yeah, we're trying to find 2 to 3 high value opportunities every week to either buy stock, buy calls and puts. We trade a lot of spreads, but just the idea is we're trying to give you an opportunity to capitalize on what we're seeing in the market, and every week.
Yeah, no. So okay, so you're not. Are you exceeding that level, or are you pretty much gonna stay
We've
at that
had
level?
weeks where I've sent out 4 opening trades, and today this presentation is going to weigh a little bit. Like we were thinking about doing 2 earnings plays today too, but we've already done 2 signals. So sometimes we might get up to 4 opening
All
trades.
right. All right, that's all right. All right. They're just, by the way, somebody's asking me for the web address again. We put them in chat, but it's theotrade.com/ghost. So look, these are going to be 2 to 3 high probability trade alerts a week. Are you predominantly trading spreads, or are you using like individual option positions? What suits you a little bit in there?
Well, I mean, we started this in April as the market was selling off, right? So the reality is, and you've commented on this a lot, is that, look, I mean, if you can get a spread trade that's priced really well, why not do the spread versus buying stock? But we've done some stock trades. We've done some long calls and puts. I showed you Rocket, for example. That was a long call trade over earnings. Again, 2 today. We're considering Peloton and Coors, CORZ. PTON is the other symbol. So again, we will do some long calls and puts as well. But here's the thing: you jump in chat and say, "Hey, I want to find a stock trade around this." We'll chat about it, right? I'll give you some ideas how to trade other strategies if you want. But our signals are either spreads, long calls and puts, or stock.
Yeah. By the way, I want to make clear again, which we're talking about the surveillance console inside of chat. If you already have Ghost Prince right now, okay, you signed up, 3 months ago. As long as you already have this, you will receive the Ghost Prince console. You're going to receive it as long as you keep your Ghost Prince membership current. For everyone, okay, that joins today, you will receive the Ghost Prince console. And I just want to make that like abundantly clear. We're answering it also inside of chat. I can see Jeff and everybody's answering that in chat. So onward from here, the next thing, 2-hour live Ghost Prince Masterclass. Yeah, the first thing is you're probably not constraining yourself to 2 hours in here because it's a lot to go through. But a big portion of this masterclass, and it's coming August 15th at 2 p.m. So as you're actually enrolling for it, I know everybody always asks, they're like, I'm busy that day. Okay. Look, every spoken word here at TheoTrade is recorded. Every spoken word. And that's important. I always like to mention that. So if you did or could not miss it. Like, look, I like when people show up to the class live. Like, it's great. We could have a few hundred people in there to be great, but it's August 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. But if you can't catch it live, you absolutely unequivocally can watch this in an archive. You can even watch it at a different speed, meaning you can play it back at like 1.25 the speed over there. Brandon sounds like a chipmunk, but it's going to give you his exact method, okay, to spot pressure. So he's actually going to be showing you not only how to use the surveillance console, but he's going to show you where it comes from. Like, meaning that the old school method, okay, built into a piece of technology is where this is really going to go, and how to uncover high probability setups. Most traders are not going to see a full walkthrough of real trades, real charts, okay, real logic live, full recording included, so you can review at any time. Again, that's critically important. The next, okay, is a 12-week Ghost Prince mastermind. Now, the mastermind, you're like, that's kind of extreme. It starts right after the class. The class, okay, brings you up to speed as to what, okay, we're doing. The master class, okay, is literally not just up to speed. It's this like weekly like hand holding that I feel like you go and you spend the time in the master class, okay, your level of knowledge, having spent literally 12 weeks, and that's following, a 2-hour session, okay, your level of knowledge and your skill set is going to be at a completely different level. To then, like, I know that there's people, and listen carefully, I know that there's people in here that just want instant coffee and instant tea. They just want to sign up and like, give me the trades. And I get it, and that's cool. But I am telling you, okay, from our own internal statistics here at TheoTrade, spend the time, put it in, okay? Spend the 12 weeks. It's not going to kill you, okay? Because your effectiveness in not only following Brandon's alerts, but finding even some of your own positions, okay, is inordinately higher. So you're going to receive 12 weeks of training with Brandon, okay, as he reviews some of the trades that we're putting you into. Okay. So those alerts are coming out, and Brandon's actually going to be like, this is why I did the alert. Trade breakdowns, market insights. Look, not every trade's a winner. You're going to break down losing trades. In fact, we love to exploit what happened in here. Okay. What happened in here? We went the wrong way. We're going to look at the probabilities obviously involved in a lot of the positions. Okay. The win-loss rate over there, you're going to be able to stay accountable, improve consistency, and level up your trading. The whole reason I'm like so adamant about the 12-week Ghost Prince Mastermind is in doing our homework about our clients here at TheoTrade, okay, those that were accountable, those that not only just followed some of the alerts, but stayed up, and kind of abreast in what was going on in the trades, I'm telling you, we're levels, miles above those other traders. That alone is beyond, the $2,000 that you're paying. It's a phenomenal resource, okay, to have. These are actually the dates for it. So you guys can go through again. If you ever miss one of the 12 dates, it's okay. Everybody's just phone because every spoken word is recorded, right? So this is the Ghost Prince chat. This is a chat room. Okay, just like you're in right now, communicating back and forth. Brandon's actually going to share market insights. He'll actually do a little bit of back and forth. Okay, just don't trade alone. Part of it's being the community of Ghost Prince, and part of it is also, look, our technology, okay, is just coming out over here, and the chat room is going to give a perfect place for you guys to provide a little bit of feedback in there. Okay, I mean, technically we're just coming out with this, and we want that feedback and so forth. It's going to be phenomenal. So the Ghost Prince chat, really exclusive, nice community. Okay, Ghost Prince surveillance console. So this, okay, will be, okay, included today. This will be included. So it's pressure detection built for serious traders, tracks institutional footprints in real time. People always ask, is it going to update like daily? What do you think this is? You think this is like 1999 where you're dialing into like TD Ameritrade? It's real time, baby. Okay. Before price reacts, we're going to be looking at some of the order flow, flags high probability setups, okay, in under 10 seconds. Okay. And we're literally kind of surface scans the market with forensic positioning and precision. Again, you guys are absolutely going to love what Brandon actually has built here, okay, specifically with the surveillance console. All right, soon, okay, this portion is going to be sold separately. And we're doing that right now because literally kind of bringing people in for the first time to a piece of technology. All right, we're going to actually provide it to you. We're going to make it part of Ghost Prints. Let's see how it goes. Okay, kind of still in beta. So some of you guys, like you're going to feel like a lab rat. That's good. It's going to be sold separately soon. It's yours today with your membership. This is your only chance to lock it in. Okay, and as long as you keep your Ghost Prints, as long as you keep Ghost Prints current, okay, you will have access to the surveillance console. Onward, out with the old. Okay, we're getting rid of the exhausting cycle of starting with charts and looking for hours. Like, I was literally just looking at like positions a moment ago, and I'm like scanning through this and scanning through this, and okay, out with the old. Okay, and it's really weird. Even when I go from like this, okay, it reminds me, like Thinkorswim now reminds me of like old DOS. you know, CD backslash. Okay, trying to feel the market, watching setups that go nowhere, getting faked out by false breakouts. Okay, burning time you could probably spend living. You weren't meant to sit in front of the screen, kind of scanning through hundreds of different underlyings in here. Out with the old, in with the new. Okay, the surveillance console is going to give you high probability trades flagged in seconds. It's no scanning, no guessworks. Okay, it's clear pressure signals. Okay, and again, it could save 20 plus hours a week easily. For some of you that are actually fishing out order flow like we do, easily 20 plus hours a week. And we've been using it now, okay, for weeks. We're actually looking at the wireframes and months and months ago, but it's been weeks now that we've been playing around with it. So trade with focus, clarity, and time, and it's going to give you back a lot of that time. That's definitely in with the new. On all of this, of course, we have a 30-day money back guarantee. Okay, we're confident in Ghost Prints. We're confident in Brandon. We're confident in the new console. Trade with us for 30 days. If you don't like really see that edge in your trading, we'll refund every penny. Look, by the way, there's never a stipulation. There's no stipulations whatsoever here at TheoTrade regarding a money back guarantee. Okay, if at any point it's not for you, just email us. Email us, support@theotrade.com. There's everything to gain and nothing to lose. And we make sure that people know that. Like I always say this, and I'm going to say it again. We always want people that want to be here. It's $2,000. We want people that want to be here. Okay, the piece of technology was extraordinarily expensive to build. Why $2,000? Well, look, your data fees, okay, alone are astronomical for a product like this. So just the data fees alone. Has anybody ever tried to buy real-time data? I'm serious. Has anyone here actually tried to buy real-time data? You would know right off the top of your head, right? Real-time data, okay, just for like one major exchange, you could be looking at $120 to $200 a month just in data fees. Okay, that's in here. Again, everything to gain, nothing to lose. There's a 30-day money back guarantee in here. To reiterate, included with your membership today, it's 2 to 3 high probability trade alerts per week. Okay, there's a 2-hour live masterclass. When's that coming? August 15th. Then we kick off directly after that, the 12-week mastermind. When's that kick off? August 19th. Ghost chat. Okay, and of course, today's bonus, this is the surveillance console. Okay, literally providing Ghost Prints in real time. The retail value is $10,477. It's $2,000 today. Okay, your goal, surge your account in 50% in 90 days using the same method that Brandon does. Okay, most traders stay stuck. They chase price. Chasing price is just, it's chaos. Okay, they watch charts after charts after charts. I mean, looking at the chart for me has always, like, I've always used this analogy too. It's like, especially in a fast market condition, looking at a chart is like driving 90 miles an hour, looking through the rear view mirror, and it might get you there. Okay, but you're going to hit a few things along the way. People that they get stuck, they react too late, regret it every time. It's not a lack of effort, and it's not a lack of effort. It's a lack of visibility. Okay, you have to make a choice. Keep the guessing, probably not. Keep staring at charts. It's ridiculous. Reacting after the move, or see the pressure before it hits the tape. Save the 20 plus hours a week. Get real signals in real time. Okay, the old way is lagging indicators, noise, gut feel, watching breakouts from the rear view mirror. Okay, burnout, frustration, second guessing. Okay, people have already lived this. You know where this leads. Okay, the new way, institutional pressure, detected in real time, forensic grade signal, clarity, console alerts that fire in under 10 seconds. Just so you know, when I say it's real time, yeah, it's actually doing, looking at the surface of markets and bids and offers in here. Okay. But again, providing data coming back to you, right, every few seconds. It's time back, it's confidence back, it's clarity back. That's what we're trying to do here with Ghost Prints and the Surveillance Console. Surveillance Console is going to be sold separately at its full $5,000 value. Today, it's bundled with Ghost Prints for $2,000 annual membership. Okay, miss it, you're going to pay more. Okay, for a lot less. You think about it, you're going to miss this. Okay, you're going to pay more for a lot less. You've seen the truth. The question is no longer if the edge exists; it's whether you're actually going to use it. You can either see the unseen or just stay blind and hope that price tells the truth. Okay. Again, yours today. Right now, most traders, okay, miss the moves. They react, okay, again, far too late. Look, stop chasing trades after the fact. Join Ghost Prints 90-day challenge now. Now, Brandon, I'm going to throw this at you really quick over here.
Yep.
We're going to do a couple of questions in here in just a moment, but I wanted to cut through this quickly because I really wanted to get to not so much the Q&A. Okay, want to show us maybe the console real quick?
Yeah, so I'm gonna share some of this. So I was kind of asked the question earlier here about if you polled 1,000 traders, what would they do? I'm gonna show you a chart, and we're gonna look at Ghost Prints. We're gonna look at the Ghost Prints console real time. We're looking at AI. AI just went from 30 down to 22, big sell off. If you ask 1,000 traders, where is AI gonna go next? What's the next big move? What are you gonna say? I mean, down, up, playing a technology. Oh, we broke support. Oh, we did this, we did that. You know what? I don't care. It doesn't matter because what you're wanting is confirmation. What we're wanting to see is we want to cut through all of the noise and isolate. And this is exactly what's going on right now with AI. So with a couple of clicks, I've done 3 different parameters. You'll see AI, what's going on right now. Someone bought over 40,000 contracts in one trade at the ask for the 9/19 expiration, the 25 call. 40,000 contracts. Do you think they care that AI sold off a lot? Are they watching the chart to do this, Don?
That's good enough for me. Like that, and that's so. So the thing is, like when people start asking about like the console, they're like, oh, so it looks like odd options activity. I'm like, oh, I don't think we're in a totally different generation right now. This ain't like 20, 25 years ago where it was like, look, this traded. Okay, you can look at like some depth in here, people. You can see it traded at the ask. He's actually got that on here. And again, that's what the class is going to explain is, at the surface, you're like AI, call, strike. Okay. What's the location over there? It's explaining exactly, okay, what the order flow is and where the order flow, the origin came from. Is it on the bid? Is it on the offer out there?
Right.
There's so much information, okay, in literally one line. Okay, it's going to break your brain bar,
and the thing is,
you start looking at it.
There's stuff built into this you can't see that's based on my experience over 17 years of doing this kind of analysis. So you're looking at bonds, or you're looking at Don. I think you have a GLD trade on, right? Still, or is it? Are you close it?
I still have the GLD trade on.
Still got it on. Well, guess what? They just bought 5,600 contracts today, near the ask price on the 315 calls.
Help me out on that one.
So these are what we call block trades. When you buy 5,000, 20,000 contracts, 40,000 contracts in one trade, these are not bashful traders. These are large institutional flows, stuff that I know you've watched flows for years. This is exactly what we're feeding to. We're feeding to the biggest of biggest trades right now, because I just did a couple of clicks in order to let all that stuff flow right to the top instead of having to go layer after layer after layer.
By the way, yeah, that's always been my baby. Like I can read order flow and have been reading order flow, and I've been watching client order flow for the better part of the brokerage firm, obviously 15 years. By the way, read a couple of names. Those that are enrolling, okay, I'm letting everybody know that we see you. Obviously, you get a username and password over here. Then we're going to answer a couple of generalized questions. But Kirk K from California, Scott H from Montana, Donald P from New York, Anil M from Ohio, Fred S from Oklahoma, Paul W from Illinois, Tony J from Georgia, Mike T from Minnesota, Guillermo R from Texas. Okay, I think that's the same Guillermo from like a while ago. I'm not sure. Ross S from Illinois, Thomas W. from Connecticut, Timothy H. from Colorado, Anthony D. from Illinois, Mike Day from Idaho, Stephen T. from New York, Eric D. from Florida. That's the first batch names. By the way, these are individuals. It takes me about 5 to 7 minutes before I can see your enrollment. These are individuals that are enrolled. We see you guys. We thank you guys as you enroll. If you don't see your password, okay, and again, your login information in the next few minutes, you can always reach out to support@theotrade.com. We'll get you taken care of. Just confirming that we do see your enrollment here. All right, a couple things that I always, do general Q&A over here. People always say, what do you really need to get started? Laptop, internet connection. That's pretty much it. By the way, the Ghost Prince surveillance console, okay, works off of like the TheoTrade site. It's built into the TheoTrade site. So you could even access it. It's a little bit small to see like on a regular phone. I'll give it to you because I played with it. You can see it on a phone, but you might want to go as big as an iPad. You don't have to get crazy and have like monitors all over the place. So that's not a necessity in there. But, I don't want people to think that they have to have some, really just rambunctious or large piece of technology to run this on. Okay. We're running everything on our side. Okay. So you guys know the surveillance console is a piece of technology. Okay. It's running all server side. All you're actually seeing is a little bit of like a user interface, real simple. Okay. And it literally breaks it down into lines. Exactly what Brandon was showing you there moments ago is like, look, it's as clean as like, this has been kind of checked out. It's a big order flow in here, and we just go from there. All right, next. We don't auto renew, okay, or auto bill you again. So, people always ask what happens after a year. After a year, let's do it again. If you want to do it again, do it again. Okay. And if you do it again after a year, yes, you still receive access to the console. The cool thing is we're kind of grandfathering people. You get in now, okay, and you will receive access to the Ghost Prince console. So that's kind of the cool thing that we're doing today. Before we're going to break it out. We're starting to build a little more technology here at TheoTrade, and it's something we've played around with for a long time. It's a relatively new venture for us, but expect that there's a lot more technology coming down the pipe as well. But this is, one of the preeminent tools built in the industry right now. So Brandon's also going to record weekly alerts, video updates. You can follow all the moves he makes in Ghost Prince. So the 2 to 3, alerts a week. As he's trading those, he's actually going to provide you, video updates on those. Okay. You're going to get access to the private Ghost Prince room. That's Ghost Prince room. How often would you say you're in there, Brandon?
Well, I'm patrolling it throughout the day. So,
Okay.
the more you communicate, the longer I'll stay there. So we've had times I've been there all day, and then sometimes, hey, not as many questions or comments coming through. So I'll just check in, but I'm checking in throughout the day. But if you want to keep me there, keep asking questions and comments. Hey, bring up trades. I love when people want to talk about trades, right? Love when people, hey, I want to review this print. What can we do with it? That kind of stuff. So yeah.
All right, a couple
As
more
much or
names are
little as you
actually,
need me.
a few more names are coming in here. I think I did this one. Eric D from Florida, Eric F from Washington, Mike M from Texas, Greg and Valerie L from Florida. As I read through here, one of the questions we get all the time is people just infatuated. What brokerage firm? What brokerage firm? So listen, okay, I use some Thinkorswim. I also trade pretty extensively on Tasty. Okay, I use both. I don't mind saying that. I trade more probably on Tasty now than even Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim, it's becoming antiquated. That's why, we're talking about like the scanning technology in here. Okay, look, what we just built in the surveillance console, you ain't in Disney anymore. And the technology on Thinkorswim, it hasn't really been changed since, legit, like the last big tools that I helped build was all the way back in like 2013. Okay, I haven't seen any real innovation on the platform in 10 years. It's literally been 10 years. So innovation is here and now. Okay. When they weren't continuing to build, we're forced to kind of pick up the ball and run with it. I kind of feel that way. Like I love, the people at like Tasty. I love the people at like Thinkorswim. Okay. But technology is just not keeping pace with what we want here at TheoTrade. Hence, okay, we give you the Ghost Prince surveillance console. So people are always infatuated with the different brokers. Okay, look, find a broker, have a broker, whatever. It's not going to be like, a critical, decisive factor for you because the trades that Brandon is placing, you can do this in almost any major broker dealer. Okay. There's always one that's like, Fidelity won't let me do this or Robinhood won't let me do that. And I get it. Okay. So we can help you. Okay. We can help you get options approval if you need it. We can send you to the right brokerage firms if you so choose, but I don't want that to be like a defining factor. Any of the trades that Brandon's doing can be done with as little as $2,000 in the account. I'm going to make that clear. Anything he does can be done with $2,000 in the account. You can do this from retirement accounts. Okay. Also, you can email us anytime, receive a response within 24 hours. Now, timeout. You don't even have to actually email. You just hit Brandon inside of the Ghost Prince room. As I was saying that a moment ago, so there is this private room specifically, just like you're in right now, okay? And it's a private room just for Ghost Prince. You can communicate in the room. Communicate with Brandon. Let's get crazy. Spend some time in there throughout the course of the day. Brandon, you're going to be extraordinarily busy the next couple of weeks, but that's okay. You
It's good.
know, here's
When
the
we
thing
have
that
a
people, yeah.
when we have a private chat function. So like when you're on the Ghost Prince page, you have a choice. You can see one of my chats in there. Just right click on it, and you click on it. You can send me a private chat too. So again, whether it's public or private, I can see those messages you're sending me there, and I can respond to them. So you don't have to go through rigmarole of having to send an email. Hey, let's communicate directly.
So, by the way, a few more names are actually coming in over here, and that is Steve J from North Carolina, Paul M from South Dakota, David B from Wisconsin, Gordon C from Canada, and Todd W from Maine. Every one of those places has better weather than 114 degrees in Phoenix here today. I don't know how I ended up in Phoenix again in August. Actually, I do. My youngest just went back to school on Monday, so I have the distinct pleasure of going to pick him up 3 p.m. 114 degrees. You got to park the car, walk, pick up the kid. Oh yeah, it's going to be toasty out there.
So go from air
So
conditioning to a quick run in amidst
a sauna.
fire, right? And then get right back to air conditioning again.
Sauna. It's absolutely horrible out here right now. So I also want to further, like, again, retirement accounts. If you have a retirement account, whether it's an IRA, a Roth IRA, of course, you can trade in those accounts. You absolutely can trade in those accounts. Um, that's important. I always make that distinction because a lot of the accounts like I use here. Okay. And by the way, I show people like I'm up like 18 grand in this account. This one's an IRA. This is a SEP IRA. I'm doing all kinds of crazy things in there, like you can do anything you want here at Tasty. Here's another one. I'm up like 32 grand in there year to date. This is a $2,000 account. By the way, I literally keep a $2,000 account so that I can show you that you can do any trade in a $2,000 account. So hopefully you guys understand you can do any of these trades. Okay, you don't have to have like special access, special account. Okay. Um, all right, onward over here. You can email us anytime, as I said, but you probably prefer to hop into the chat room. And again, you can even private chat function. And the private chat function, okay, is literally like, how do I actually show this? Okay, you kind of hover over here, okay, and you can actually start private chats. So, and that's a private chat directly to Brandon in there. So look, get results, take action, enroll for Ghost Prince now. There's no risk to you. And again, today specifically, we are going to include the surveillance console. And I want to jump back, obviously, to this page here for just a moment that I brought up. Okay, and we'll throw this up and answer a couple more questions over here. A few more names: Ben G from California, David P from Oklahoma, Jerry N from Illinois, and Lawrence S from Florida. Michael J from California. All right. Theotrade.com/ghost. As I was saying a moment ago, as you guys scroll to the bottom of this, okay, obviously, again, it's 30-day money back guarantee on here. But when you're putting your name, your email address, put a valid email address in. It's not just about sending alerts, okay? You want a valid email address in here specifically because there's data involved. Okay, so all of the above are obviously included in here. With that, Brandon, anything else in here? Somebody was the private message. I got that one. Okay. Make sure we're good in here. Okay. By the way, we're going to stay inside. We're going to stay inside this room for a few minutes, answering a few more
And
questions. Okay. By the way, somebody asked when the mastermind is again. I believe it's August 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
So it's next
Okay.
Friday at 2 o'clock Eastern. And just, I'm like, if you feel like, hey, I don't know a lot about options, for GhostPrint members, I have guides written just to help you from a beginning options perspective, learning verticals, other spread strategies. I have the 50 most profitable price patterns. It's a book that I wrote years ago that's available to you. I have the 50 most profitable candle patterns. Again, a book that's available to you. Plus, every day you have access to me to ask the questions that you don't know, right? And so again, I'll send out videos at times discussing what we're doing. We have our weekly masterminds. There's lots of opportunity to grow in this, not just learning just how to find these prints, but even growing in your ability to trade options and stock. I have a system I use for swing trading stocks that will apply to some of our ghost alerts as well.
Fantastic. Well, I'll tell you what, I want to thank everybody that actually tuned in today. I don't want to eat too much of everybody's time. We're actually going to stay in the chat room for a few minutes answering questions. By the way, Becky D from Oregon, see your enrollment come in. Again, on behalf of myself and everybody here at Theo Trade, Brandon, thank you very much for
Thanks,
not
Tom.
only putting this together today, but really, I mean, Brandon has spent countless hours. I mean, literally countless hours building this surveillance console. Again, looking at next generation technology. Again, if anybody has questions over here, please remain inside of the chat room. We'll be able to answer those for you kind of on a one-off basis. Thanks everybody for tuning in today. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.